All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the August 2019 Tips and Tricks webinar for Microsoft Dynamics 365, brought to you by the Marks Group. So my name is Megan Hagedorn, and today we're going to talk about the following 3 tips. So first, we are going to learn how to set our home page in the new unified user interface, or one of the hubs. So we will walk through that. And then we're going to check out the new way to customize the system. So along with all of this unified user interface revamping they've done, we also have a new solution window. So we'll take a look at that. Not everything is in there yet, but a lot is. So you can really work quite a bit in there. And then finally, we're going to talk about sorting activities in the social pane, or the activity pane, or the timeline, whatever you might know it as. All right, so let's get started. So we're going to start with the home page in the new unified user interface. So this is what the unified user interface looks like right now. And all right, so first we're going to want to go to this little gear icon and select Personalization Settings. All right, so up at the very tippity top here, we're going to see the default pane and the default tab. Right now I have this set to Sales and Accounts, but this is talking about, and we'll just cancel out of this for a second. So this is talking about, if we go back to the main area of the Sales Hub, this landing page, if I want to expand these for a moment, we're in the Sales pane. That was what it's called, right? Or the sales area, rather, versus app settings or training. So we're in the sales area, and then the accounts tab within that. So if we go back here and select Personalization Settings, so our default pane, we want that to be sales. You can change that to whatever you need to. And then the default tab within that pane, we have this set to accounts, but again, feel free to make this whatever you need it to be. So that is how you set up your kind of home page for Dynamics in this new unified user interface. Pretty cool. And now we're going to check out the new way to customize the system. So if we go to Advanced Settings this time, so we're going to click on the gear icon, then Advanced Settings. We can go ahead to Settings, Customizations, and then we're going to click Customize the System. They haven't fully moved this area back to the new UUI yet, but I expect that's going to happen at some point. This is actually going to be, this kind of classic legacy web view is going to be deprecated in 2020, I believe. Hopefully more details on that soon. Nothing official from Microsoft yet, I don't believe, though. Okay, so we're in our solution right now. You're going to notice this yellow bar at the top to try the new experience. There's a better way to customize the system. Well, not quite better yet. There's still a couple of things missing. There's a new way to customize forms. That's back here as well. I'll pop into that. And there are a couple of small things like showing dependencies from a field. That doesn't seem to be available in this area yet. But so this is what the new solution window looks like. So instead of this, in the future, it's going to look like this. Everything, like I said, for the most part, there are a couple of features missing, but I think those, I would certainly expect them to add that before they fully deprecate the legacy view. But this is how we can access our entities, option sets, apps. This is also known as the model-driven apps area. So that's what this looks like. And we can create stuff from here as well. We can work on flows, view all of our solutions here. So we're in our entities area. I'm going to select account. If I select this more commands, we can edit data in Excel. This is new. Maybe this is not new. I can't remember what the editing in Excel capabilities were in the legacy view, but regardless, we've got some data options right here. So we're going to click on account. That's going to open up the entity for us. And here we are, same information that's available in the legacy view, just laid out very differently. We can see fields, relationships, business rules, views, forms, dashboards, charts, keys, and data. So if we go to forms and select one of the forms, this is what the form editor looks like in the new unified user interface, and they call it the classic view. So you can switch back to the classic view just by clicking this button, which I have had to do because the next thing we're going to talk about, the timeline, social pane, activity pane, whatever you want to call it, that area doesn't seem to be able to be completely customizable like it can be in the classic view. There's, at the end of the day, there should be more options here. So if we switch to the classic view, we can double click on the notes or activity pane, social pane, timeline, all that stuff, and access this area. So it's definitely not quite fully built out yet, but a lot of the basic options are available in this. We can click and drag fields onto the form. It's a lot nicer to work with than the old form. Just not everything is in here yet. So. But I definitely like working in here when I can. And I really like this preview feature, I guess, that we have where we can actually see what it's really going to look like instead of that funky grid looking layout in the classic view. So going back over here for a second. So this kind of segued into our last tip, which is choosing how to sort the activity pane on any form, or also known as the social pane or the timeline. It's got a lot of names. So we have some options here. Definitely look under the Unified Interface Properties. This is a new tab. It used to just be these two. But if you're working with the Unified User Interface, definitely work in this tab. We can see the General tab and the Activities tab. You can set up filtering. This is how you can sort your activities, sort your timeline by what. So you've got lots of different options here. And then there are a couple of more options here. I haven't played with these too much, so I'm not quite sure what all of these, how you would access the changes here, if that's just but that's worth looking into. I'm not sure if you would just like double click the, or if that would open a different card or thumbnail. But yeah, so that is available to you. But sorting, which is what most people are going to be adjusting back here, is right here. And this is sorting activities. In general, we have these options as well. So we can sort, or not sort, but figure out what module they call it should be default for your create experience. I like how they phrase that. So you can either be posts or notes by default. We have the number of results and the sorting for this as well. And yeah, those are the unified interface properties for the timeline, activity pane, social pane, etc. So this is by default set to last updated. Sometimes I like to set this to the date created or created on, just because sometimes workflows and stuff can go back and touch activities or other records and make it look like it was modified recently when it really wasn't. So sometimes I like to use created on, but yeah, all of these options are available to choose from, so that's great. All right, so just to recap a little bit, we first talked about setting our home page on the new unified user interface. If I can get back to, there we go. So right now I have this set to the the sales pane and the accounts tab. But again, you can change that by going to this gear icon, then personalization settings, and then editing that first option that you have. There's one on the left, one on the right, default pane, default tab. So you can set that up as needed. Then we took a look back here at the kind of the new solution area back in the Power Apps area. So, and I was actually just wondering if we could go back to the main menu for, okay, here we go, this area. So our main solution window now, we can access most of the stuff that we could before. All of our information is on here, but some of the properties and formatting options aren't here yet, so you would still have to adjust some of this stuff back in the classic view, but I would expect them to update this within, fairly soon, because we've got some big changes coming next year when they decide to deprecate the legacy view and switch us all over to this this application kind of format. All right. Oh, and then finally, we have editing our timeline sorting or our activities pane sorting. Right now, that has to be done back in the classic view of the form editor. Can't be done in this quite yet. And we would double click on the activity pane. That's going to open up our properties. And then we can edit the sorting by clicking on activities and sorting the timeline by whatever you want in this list. All right, so I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions about anything you've seen here, you can check out the blog posts themselves with step-by-step instructions and screenshots. You can leave comments. I do respond to them. Sorry about that. Yeah, please feel free to email me as well at megan@marksgroup.net. And I hope this was helpful, and thanks for joining. I'll see you guys next time.